Hey, Viking fans, this is Keith Millard, and you are listening to the One Bar and Lupicus Show. Go Vikes!
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupicus Show. I am One Bar with Lupicus, and today we're talking NFL draft, and we're going to bumper back a couple rounds. We've been talking a lot about the first, second, third rounds. We're going to the ass end of the draft. We're going to talk about some guys that we got our eyes on in the later rounds, and I'm very excited.
Well, and it's weird because really right now the Vikings don't have a late round pick. They don't pick in round 7 as of now.
They will.
And they have a fairly early 6th round pick. So not your usual Vikings where they have about 7 picks in round 6 and 7. Like you said, though, we're going to go by the assumption that Rick Spielman is going to make some deals and acquire some picks down the road here.
Yeah, we'll end up with at least one, and one's probably a little bit light. Loves those 7th round picks. And you know what? He's turned those 7th round picks in the past into some players. Weatherly, Odenabo for 7th round. That's pretty damn good.
He's had a few nice ones. He's had some turds, but let's talk about some options in this year's draft that could maybe be some hidden gems.
All right, I'm going first. I'm so excited, and I am going with kind of not one of my favorite guys, but one of the guys that just absolutely dominated, and that's Jarrett Patterson, running back, Buffalo, 5'9", 195, just like you. He's small but thick. One of those.
That was Matt
Peterson.
Peterson,
He might be
not
small,
me.
but he loves to pound it between the tackles. Absolutely dominated the MAC. A magician at finding yards, and that backs it up because he had over 3,800 rushing yards in 3 years. And the Vikings, like you said in yesterday's live show, they could be looking at a running back in the round 6 rounds if they do get a round 7 pick. Just a number 3 guy that can compete for Amir Abdullah. And if they get a guy like Patterson, I think he could actually compete with Mr. Abdullah. I love everything he's done. And the other part of it is he doesn't drop the ball. He holds on to that thing tight.
Well, I think if we get Jarrett Patterson, I don't think he competes for Amir Abdullah. I think he's your number 3. This guy had 8 touchdowns and 400 yards in a single game against Kent State. But you watch tape on this guy. The one thing that sticks out is his burst through the hole. He gets the handoff and all of a sudden, boom, he just explodes through the hole like a back I've never really seen before. But he's kind of got this weird look. He doesn't really look like a running back. He's got these square ass shoulders. He looks more like a safety.
He's thick. He's small.
When they get the interception. It's weird. But yeah, I'd be completely on the Jarrett Patterson. I'd be fine with this. I do think the Vikings are going to target a running back anywhere from round 4 to 7, wherever they end up. And they got to have a third option. I mean, Amir Abdullah is Amir Abdullah. He's your backup returner. He's maybe your backup pass catching back. But, you know, Delvin Cook, Alexander Madison can't stay healthy. And a guy who scores 8 touchdowns and runs for 400 yards in a single game definitely has to be on your radar.
Yeah, and he's going to be an interesting one. He could be one that just goes earlier than expected, or he could go fucking undrafted. You never know.
You never know. I'm going to go with a guy, and I know I put this guy in here with the thought that the Vikings don't really have a late round pick. So I'm going to go with safety Damar Hamlin from Pitt. A guy I think could go earlier than people expect, or he could fall on the board. And the reason he's going to fall on the board, I mean, it's just because he's one of these players that they're good in every single, you check the boxes, good. But he's not like exceptional in one of these categories. He's very experienced. He's a 4-year starter. He really stood out at the Senior Bowl. I thought he had one of the better Senior Bowls of anybody down there. 6 foot, 200 pounds. He can play in the box. He can play in the slot. He can play the deep field. He's got all kinds of versatility. I think this is a guy, if you take a safety round 3, come back around 5-ish, the Damar Hamlin is there. I think you snap him up without hesitation. He can provide very valuable depth right away and maybe down the road become a starter.
Yeah, he's athletic. Love athletic safeties. He definitely needs to beef up a little bit more. Needs to become a better tackler. But when you're getting in the round 5, round 6, you know, you deal with what you got. And I love Hamlin. I love his teammate. I love everything about him. I would love a safety before round 6. That'd be great this year, please.
Oh, I'm looking at him as your second safety.
Wow.
We're drafting 2.
Yeah, I think that. I don't think that's too crazy. All right, next guy up. I'm going tight end. Yes, we got Irv Smith. Yes, we got Conkadonk. But Conkadonk, Brandon Dillon, there's room for improvement there at the back end of the depth chart. I'm going Quentin Morris from Bowling Green, wide receiver turned tight end. Still a little bit raw, But last year is his first year as a full-time tight end in like 5 games, I think. 20 receptions, 250 yards. He is definitely rough around the edges. What I like about him is he gets yards after the catch. He's a good route runner, and he can go out there and sniff out that ball. So while he needs a little work on his blocking, he needs a little work on his technique. I'm all for a pass catching tight end that might add a little juice to the depth chart.
Yeah, like running back, I think tight end is an underrated position the Vikings could actually address. I mean, they got 11 picks right now, a lot of positions that they can hit, and you're looking for, when you have 11 picks, then you got to look at spots down the depth chart that could use competition. I do think tight end 3 is one of those. You got, was it Cole Henchins, whatever. He's like on the retired reserve list right now. So right now, Brandon Dillon's the only guy. I do love Brandon Dillon, but why not bring in some competition for him? Let him compete. Let the best man win that 3rd spot. Quentin Morris, it sounds like he's a bit of a playmaker. He can make some plays. He had some decent production there at Bowling Green, but I was reading, it sounds like he's got some inconsistent mitts on him, so maybe he's got to figure out how to get some syrup on those gloves to hang on.
So did Konkadonk. Look how far he's come.
He finally came. It took a long time.
Morris had a good Senior Bowl as well. Not bad.
Surprised they invited him.
Oh my God.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Vikings. They got to bring in some more talent at the tackle position. I do think they'll hit this position earlier, but another position I think they're going to probably hit twice. Offensive tackle, you're looking late. If I'm looking late for a tackle and a guy's still on the board from the College of Wisconsin, he's immediately going to pique my interest because Wisconsin is an offensive lineman factory. They push these guys out.
Gabe Karimi is a great example of that.
Gabe Karimi was amazing, but this guy's tough as hell. He's 6'5", 320 pounds, very, very strong. He doesn't have very long arms, a little bit of Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, a little stiff in the hips. But man, he's so mean. He's so powerful. I think he's a guy you can pop in the mouth. Great run blocker from the start. You're looking for depth. We don't know what we really have in Oli Udoh. Never gets a shot. Blake Brandel. I don't want to see Blake Brandel beyond this preseason. Cole Van Lanen from Wisconsin. Definitely a guy I would consider and let him compete. If Blake Brandel beats him out, great for Blake Brandel. But I'm gonna put my money on the Wisconsin lineman. Can
you say his name one more time?
Cole Van Lanen.
All right. Does this have anything to do the fact that his name sounds like Van Halen? Be honest.
No, but now that you said that, I think I would take him in around 4.
Yeah. Everything you read about this guy, you can't get 2 sentences in without just them completely talking up his ability to run block. He sounds like a big meatball. He sounds like a guy that is just extremely powerful, good run blocker, doesn't have much after that. I mean, he sounds like a depth guy, but again, we're talking about late round guys. So I'm all on board for it as a depth piece, and mostly because his name does sound like Van Halen, and I'm not even a Van Halen fan. So
no, you ever heard the song Run Around?
I don't know. I'm not a Van Halen guy. Sorry if that upset Ellis Gregor. If Ellis Gregor's watching, I'm guessing he's probably upset at the fact that I just said that.
Oh, they got a lot of good songs.
Might as well jump.
Actually, I think I might. I'm Ellis Gregor might not like this either, but I might prefer the Sammy Hagar years.
Oh my God! All right, next up, I'm going safety too because I want a safety. I don't care if we got Xavier Woods; he will be our starter. But we need to look to the future. Harrison Smith is getting crusty around the balls. I'm going Josh Bledsoe, Missouri safety. He's a quarterback turned safety. 5'11", 201 pounds. Very consistent playmaker, can blitz as well, which I like. He's got good frame, long arms, definitely a depth piece. He's not a guy that's going to come in and he's not going to be playing as a rookie, maybe on special teams. But he's the type of guy that you can kind of move all around the place. You can put him at slot, you can put him at safety. Appears he plays much better when he's up on the line. So he's just kind of, I won't say J-Ron Curse style, but just the guy you don't have to put him strictly at safety. You can have fun with him. So Josh Bledsoe, quarterback turned safety, would love him.
Yeah, a couple things here. It sounds like to me he kind of got by at college by just his athletic ability. He's a damn good athlete, and I think that saved him in a lot of situations. Definitely a person who needs to sit down, study the position, learn the nuances of it. As you said, being a former quarterback, I think he's got a lot of learning to do, but looking at a raw prospect you take late, why not take this guy and see what he develops into?
Raw dog.
Very raw dog. Very, very raw dog. All right. You mentioned running back earlier. I'm going to go back to running back. Kind of a similar frame. I'm going to go with Javian Hahn. This guy had 417 touches from scrimmage, 2,400 yards, 17 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. Very, very explosive player. He's one of these guys who might only see 3-4 snaps a game, but can really make the most of those because, he can break loose and just hit the home run at any point. So you got to love that. He wasn't really used a whole ton as a returner, but I think he does give you some options as a returner. So he brings that to the table. There is some questions about his ball security. Doesn't always hang on to the ball, which makes me a little bit nervous. Amir Abdullah also has that. So having 2 guys on the depth chart with slippery mitts makes me nervous. But a guy who can come in and give you that home run hitter, I think is very, very attractive in the late rounds.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much we didn't even talk, but I just had home run type back on this one. Aside from Patterson, Patterson's more of just the bowling ball dude, where Hawkins can actually just take it to the house pretty much anytime he touches the ball. He kind of reminds me of a Mike Boone type running back, and I'd be all for it. I mean, that's all I got. I love the fact that he's not going to see the field much, but if he did and he got the ball, he could actually take it to the house.
Yeah, I think we're both on the same page that we want these kind of smaller backs who are shifty, good vision, 5'9" or under. I mean, I don't know. I just think the Vikings, they got to bring in somebody. You can't expect Madison or Cook to put in a full 16 games or 17 games, I should say now.
Get it right. Get it right. All right. My final guy, Romeo McKnight, defensive end from Charlotte, was at Illinois State. Junior year, had 12 sacks, which is fantastic. But despite the big sack numbers, he's actually better against the run. That's his bread and butter. He's definitely raw. The thing with him is he's got good power. He just doesn't really have the technique. So what better place to come than the Minnesota Vikings, where they can Miyagi any defensive lineman into a pretty damn good one. So he needs to bulk up a little bit. He's 6'5", 260, but raw defensive end that has proven he can get to the quarterback, but also stuff the run. Love everything about it. Romeo, and he's actually he was at Charlotte last year.
You know what I call Romeo McKnight?
What?
I call him the Jalen Phillips of late round defensive ends.
Wow.
2 major knee injuries in his past. Very, very scary. Another one of those, this guy's going to be in a wheelchair. That is a concern. But yeah, you mentioned he's a really good run stopper right now. He had 12 sacks, but Charlotte level of competition concerns as well. But again, we're talking late round guys, so hard not to be on board with a guy named Romeo. I'm not going to lie.
I just love the fact. I love the thought of late defensive ends that have the power and just need a little freshening up on their technique, because we've proven we can do that.
Oh, you said you want a late defensive end, huh? I got one for you.
Yeah,
I got one for you. Josh Kando, defensive end, FSU, 6'7", 6'7", but only 247 pounds. Like a little more weight in that frame, to be honest with you. He was a really highly recruited guy coming out of high school, but his career hit some injury concerns, injury bugs. But this guy's got tentacles for arms. He's like that octopus that throws his penis at females trying to mate with them.
Is that true? I don't know if octopuses do that.
True. Only a certain kind of octopus.
I have. Hold on. I don't want to interrupt, but I got him down as 265. Did I screw that up?
I saw 247. I don't know. Maybe we got in some conflicting reports here.
Yeah, he's 265.
Well, if your thing's right, my thing could be right too.
All right.
This is a guy I look at. He's got 8 career sacks, 16.5 total tackles for a loss. He's raw. I look at Andre Patterson and him sitting down in front of that pot of clay, naked behind each other, just molding that thing into an elite pass rusher. That's what Josh,
to be clear, I do see 247 on Draft Network. I see 265 on Sports Reference.
You must have had a big dump between the two or something.
No, that sounds about right.
But 6'7", 247 seems very skinny to me, so that's why I thought that was very intersecting.
I think they got their numbers wrong. Even 265 is a little skinny for 6'7", but continue.
No, I mean, this is what attracted me to this guy. I think Zimmer looks at this guy, sees, somebody similar, long arms, Hunter kind of style. And to me, that's very, very attractive. And you're looking for these guys late round. I want to see someone with a gift, whether that's, maybe you're very fast, maybe you're very tall, whatever. This guy's got the size, the length, and the wingspan. And I think that's something you look for. The rest can be worked out, the rest can be taught, but he's got some natural ability there, natural gifts that you want to work with.
Yes, and that is exactly what I got put down. I mean, as far as just like our previous prospect in the late rounds, I have this guy. This guy is very sought after as far as people scouting him to come to their school, and he just never put it together. He's got all the tools. He does need to beef up a little bit, no doubt about that, but the upside is there. And he has all the tools. Somebody needs to get him to pull it all together. And whether that's just on the practice squad for a couple of years, whatever it is, he checks all the boxes. Again, this is another guy that fits the mold that I love in late round guys. High upside, take the chance. Who gives a shit? It's round 6, it's round 7. Take them and see what happens.
Yeah, and you mentioned practice squad a couple of years, and that's probably a very good point. I don't think he's anybody you could expect any kind of immediate return out of. He's gonna be a guy you take, and then you hope for something down the road a little bit. So, Josh, Kendo.
All right, those are our late rounders. If you got late rounders in mind, hit us up down in the comments. Let us know who you want, because there's nothing better than a late round steal.
Well, especially one that you're right about that pans out. It doesn't always happen, but when it does, man, those are some bragging rights around the bar. And then I guess it's boner time as well. Here's something that that's a little bit tied in with boner time. Having sex can unblock a stuffy nose.